What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm D.Knight. Let's stay in the playoff chase.
Cause it's game time and I'm ready. Game time and I'm ready. Yeah, it's game time and I'm ready. Game time and I'm ready. Can't stop my hustle. No, you can't stop my shine. I ain't come to make no friends. I just came to get what's mine.
Welcome back to the Orioles franchise, everybody, where we currently stand in third place in the AL East, 10.5 games behind the New York Yankees and half a game behind the Tampa Bay Rays. But really, we're fighting for the wild card spots right now, as we are 2.5 games behind the Astros for that last wild card spot. Now, we have done terrible in our division. We are 19-25 on the year. You even see the Red Sox have a winning record in our division. The Rays are just one game, so we need to be able to tighten up in the AL East. But at least we are still fighting with the injury to Mookie Betts this year. And we ended up making a couple of trades last episode, which we ended up getting Tyler Naquin for Kyle Gibson from the Indians. And we also got Bradley Zimmer for Dylan Bundy from the Indians. So we definitely have a couple of really good young outfielders that possibly could help us this season. Maybe even next season, we will have to see. But the outfield has gotten just really flooded now with super talent. And Mookie Betts, when he comes back next year, is going to be a little bit tough. But we are heading into August, which it is playoff race time. Yeah, you could always say that, yeah, it's division race time, but the Yankees are just so good. So I do believe that we're actually going to be showcasing this weekend here against the Kansas City Royals, who currently stand atop the wild card standings. So we will have to see who's pitching that 3-game set, and we will get to it. But let's end up heading to that weekend. We have Mike Minor versus Sean Reed Foley. Let's see if we can get a win. And we do end up winning. Minor wins with his 9-5 record, beating Sean Reed Foley. So we ended up getting 3 out of 4 in Toronto. That's not too bad. And now we welcome Kansas City in for a 3-game set. They're 69-43 and a really good young team. We got Means going against Jacob Junis, and we end up winning 12-0. Ooh, we just hammered it out, as Means will get his 7th win of the year. And now to game 2, we have Tehran versus Lamet. If we can do this, we can get ourselves a series win. And Zimmer ended up getting a lat muscle strain, but he's only going to be out for a couple days, so no big deal. Tehran will end up getting the loss, his 3rd loss of the year, as we end up losing 5-1. And now for the rubber game, we have Yanoa going against Skoglund, and we end up losing that one as well. And Josh Rogers is back, so that is perfect. So Yanoa will end up getting his 6th loss of the year, but his ERA is still looking pretty good. Eric Skoglund with the win. Now we have a 4-game set against the team that actually has the last wildcard spot, the 60-54 Houston Astros. Ooh, this is getting close. This is getting exciting. So we got Hess versus Garrett Cole, and Alcantara will now be out for a few days as he has a strained tricep. And Bradley Zimmer is back, so perfect. And we end up losing 4-2. Ty Block will get his 4th loss. Justin Sandberg with his 7th win. So we've actually ended up losing the last 3 games here at home. Not great, but now we have our ace Mike Minor on the mound going against Lance McCullers Jr. And we lose 5-3. Miguel Castro will end up getting the loss, and Will Harris with the win. Now we need to win these final 2 games just to split with the Astros. We got Means versus Aaron Sanchez, and Dwight Smith is going to be out for a few days. No problem, we have outfield depth for days, but we do end up losing 3-1. Means will get his 8th loss of the year. Aaron Sanchez has really pitched very well against us for whatever reason. I mean, I'm not too worried about it. So we've definitely blown our chance to catch up to these teams here in the wild card. But let's see if we can at least scrap one together. We have Julio Tehran going against Francis Martes, and we end up getting swept by the Astros in a 4-game set. Ooh, that is just terrible. We end up losing 3-2. Tehran will get his 4th loss. Martes will get his 6th win. And now we head on the road for a 6-game road trip as our first stop is in Cleveland against the 75 and 43 Indians. We took all your outfielders, he took a couple of our pitchers, and actually they ended up making them long relievers. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work out for him, but we have Yanoa versus Clevenger, and obviously they're a 75-win team, so why am I even talking about them? Gohara is back, and we end up losing yet again. Ooh, 7 straight games we have not been able to get a win, and now the wild card is starting to slip through our fingers, but we get a 7th loss. Clevenger is now 12-0 on the season with a 2.29 ERA. Wow, he is good. And now game 2, we have David Hess, who actually has been pitching very well against Zach Plesac, and we end up winning 5-1 as Dwight Smith comes back. David Hess with his 3rd win of the year and getting that ERA down almost to 2, which is great, and Plesac will get his 5th loss of the year. And now we head to the rubber game. Again, ace Mike Minor on the mound going against Carrasco. He needs this for his 10th win, and I mean, he's pitched very well to get that 10th win, but Carrasco is 14-2, and we do end up winning, but Ty Block will actually get the 8th win of his campaign, and Adam Simber will get his 1st loss. And now we are heading into a weekend series against the Kansas City Royals, which is going to be the weekend we're going to showcase. And I believe that we're actually going to showcase game 2 here. Julio Teheran versus Jacob Junis. Two very good pitchers, and I don't think we've watched Teheran pitch yet this year, so I'm kind of excited to see what he has. So let's get past this first game here. We got Means, who has done very, very well recovering from his slow start against Carlos Rodon, and we end up winning. So now all of a sudden we have won 3 straight games after that 7-game skid. Means will get his 8th win of the year. He's definitely done great turning around his season. Rodon will get his 6th loss. Let's get past the 13th there. So now we are going to be jumping into this game, which is a very, very important game for us. Julio Teheran versus Jacob Junis, 62-60 Orioles against the 75-47 Kansas City Royals. We currently still sit in 3rd place, but we have lost some distance on the Rays as we sit 3.5 games behind them. So not looking good in the AL East whatsoever. And in the wild card, we are 3.5 games behind now the same Rays. As the Astros have slipped a little bit, the A's are battling back up there, and I mean, this is getting very convoluted. But we have to be able to beat the Royals, who have a very, very good 75-47 record. Let alone we have to beat the Rays, who we haven't really necessarily been able to do all year round. But it starts here. Teheran, Junis, Royals, and Orioles. Let's jump in.
Afternoon baseball here on the show. Today we've got a good matchup in store between the Baltimore Orioles and the Kansas City Royals. 2 playoff hopefuls duke it out for wild card standing. Next. Jacob Junis is ready to go as he'll be on the mound for Kansas City. Dan, any thoughts?
Hey, in his last start, he picked up his 9th win of the season. It's always nice to get into double digits, and nothing he'd like to do more than to pitch well in this one and pick up his 10th victory of the year.
Oh, and the changeup is taken for a called 3rd strike, and the leadoff man is gone to begin the ball game.
To me, when it's raining, the approach at the plate has to change a little bit, especially if you're a guy that can run a little bit. Put the ball in play any way possible. Parker behind the dish, and you never really know what you're going to get from this guy.
Yeah, sometimes, and I'd hate to be mean and say he flips a coin back there, because that's not the case. But as an offensive player, you have to find a consistent zone. You just can't.
Grounded back up the middle, scooped up, throw in time, and the side is retired. 3 up, 3 down for the Orioles. The Royals will get their chance now in a scoreless ball game. Julio Teheran, the Colombian native, gets the call to start this one. What's your take on him, Dan?
Hey, Matt, we're getting a look at a guy that's really been struggling lately. In his last 3 starts, he has a whip of over 1.50. Lots of base runners, lots of hits, and lots of walks, and that doesn't...
The windup and the 0-2 pitch. Little chopper back to the mound. And there's one away. This is line to left. Naquin is going to get there as he backs up to put it away, and there are 2 gone now.
Well, we've mentioned the conditions aren't ideal with the rain coming down, and that can make every play a little bit of an adventure. You really have to concentrate, and he did there to haul it down.
Sliders right there, but he was able to lay off him. Might have bought himself a fastball in this situation.
Line drive to left. Naquin is going to have room out there as he puts this away to retire the side. Royals go down 1-2-3. We are still scoreless. As we begin the second here in Kansas City, here's Heidi with an update on the weather conditions.
Well, Matt, it doesn't appear that we're going to get much of a break from this rain at all as the game progresses. However, I am also hearing that this rain isn't supposed to intensify too much. The grounds crew will be on standby just in case the umpires do call a delay, but the goal is to get this one in uninterrupted.
Back in the draft of 2007.
Yeah, Matty, they certainly got it right when they drafted this guy. He has turned himself into an absolute superstar.
Meanwhile now, this ball's trouble as it looks like it'll be good for extra bases. And he's got himself a leadoff double to begin the second.
Wow, not sure what the pitcher was thinking, serving up a fastball right over the heart of the plate. His eyes got as big as saucers as he blasts this thing, putting himself into scoring position to start off the inning.
Now the payoff pitch home. He's at the knees and called strike 3. He's set. Here's the 3-2. There's ball 4. Now the 1-1 pitch. A swing and he pops him up on the infield, and the infield fly rule will be in effect here.
That's exactly what they wanted out of that pitch up in the zone. They took him up the ladder, and he couldn't get up to it. So that was an easy.
There's just no way to do any damage. You're just looking at either a bruise.
And we'll have to leave it there as this is strike 3, and that will retire the side. Orioles strand a couple. We'll go to the bottom of the second. No score. Hit sharply on the ground. And that's a base hit, so the pressure's on to open up the inning.
Nice execution right there, Dan. Kept his front shoulder in, kept his hands inside the baseball, and ripped the base hit up the middle.
And if you're a pitcher right there, you can't get discouraged. Sometimes even when you make a good pitch, the ball's going to find a hole somewhere.
Hard liner, but picked up on a hop. On to first to complete the double play. The 2-2 one more time. Is swung on and missed. He got him. Royals bats are quiet there. We'll move to the third with no score.
Back now at Kauffman Stadium, home of the Royals, who've benefited from solid pitching all season long. When it comes to their team ERA, they enter the day with one of the best in the league. And talking with some of the pitchers earlier, they mentioned how they've all been able to inspire each other this year. One said, every one of these guys seems to bring their best to the mound every single day, so that really motivates me to do the same. We hold each other to a pretty high standard.
The 1-2. A bouncer up the middle. Throw to first in time, and the leadoff man is gone to start the third. And with one away, we get a look there at where these guys sit in the current division standings, and you can see them trailing by 2.5 games entering play today. Third baseman in tight, protecting the bunt. The first pitch runs up and gets this one down. And the throw is too late. He's on with a beautifully placed bunt single.
The bat, number 9.
Has a look, now the pitch. High in the air out to center field. Laureano is there to put it away, and the runner will be forced to retreat back to first. The 2-0 on the way. Hit out towards second, right to him. He'll whip this one to first in time, and that ends the inning. One left for the Orioles. Home half of the third coming up. No score. That's lifted the other way out to left. Heading after it is Naquin, but he won't get to it, and this should put a man in scoring position to start the inning. And the Royals are going to get a man into scoring position right away on the leadoff double.
Hey, Dan, as a former pitcher, that knock just took him to a 12-game hit streak. Is that in the packet when you're looking over the lineup?
Hey, there's no doubt about that, D-Row. You go into a pitcher's meeting, and they'll make him fully aware of who's hot and who's not.
Got him to swing on top of that one as this ball's dribbled out in front of the mound. And the off-balance throw gets him. Nice play for the out. He's ready. Here's the first offering. This is hit high in the air out toward left center. Catch is made deep in the alley, and here comes the runner from third. And he will score on the sacrifice fly as he's in with our first tally of the ball game.
Got his job done there and made it look pretty simple. Got it into the outfield to bring home the first run of the game and pick up the RBI. Go back in there a second time. This guy's not afraid to pitch inside.
Reaches out for one and hits it on the ground to second. Moustakas is there. Throw in the dirt, but a good scoop at first saves an error as this side is retired. So it's one run on one hit, no errors, and no one left on base. 3 innings complete. KC leads this one 1-0.
Lineup.
Line toward the alley in left center. Meta arranged to his left as he tracks this one down in left center for the first out.
Good contact to start out the inning. Thought he might be on base with some sort of a hit, but it hung up there too long.
Into the windup. Here comes the 0-1. Line drive to left. That gets down, and he's got himself a base hit.
You think there's any justice in the game? Watch those two at bats. Both of them hit on the absolute screws. One's right at one guy, and then one's a single. Go figure.
Working for the punch out and the offering. Swing and a miss at the curveball, and there's your second out of the inning.
Lots of possible outcomes on this pitch.
And he comes back with a fastball. Strike 3 called, and the inning is over. Orioles lead 1. They're on the short end of a 1-0 score. Swing and a liner. But this is gloved over there at first as he was in the right spot at the right time. One away.
Third baseman.
And he'll try to hold back, but he won't be able to as that's ruled a swing, and there are 2 away now. Swung on and missed, and that's the final out of the inning. KC down in order, but they're on top 1-0. First delivery to him on the way. Line toward right center. But this will be run down out there in the alley. A nice play by the center fielder for the first out. So another exceptional effort for him on the mound. He's got the shutout working here, as we'll show you the league ERA leaders. And as you see, he's right up there among league leaders. Hit the other way out toward right field. Giving chase is Bonifacio. He's got it. A nice play there. 2 away. 1-0 pitch on the way. Scorched to third. Dozier brings it in. Throw to first in plenty of time, and the side is retired. 1, 2, 3 go the Orioles. It remains 1-0. Swing, line drive. That's going to be trouble. He's around first, heading for 2. And the Royals are going to get a man into scoring position right away on the leadoff double.
No doubt about it. He was looking fastball all the way there, and that's exactly what he got. Got the barrel out front and just blasted it down the line for an extra base hit.
Here's the 0-2. And a swing and a miss there on a late-breaking slider as he set down on strikes for the second time this afternoon.
That's his second strikeout of the game. I wouldn't be surprised if a coach finds him in the dugout and gives him a little talk about shortening up and putting the ball in play. Good things tend to happen when you do that.
Stepping in now, Nicky Lopez, as he'll send a ground ball down to third. And the off-balance throw beats him at first, and that's a tough play.
Pitch.
Ready with the payoff pitch. Slider whiffed on for strike 3. A great pitch to put an end to the inning. Both teams battling the elements thus far, but we've got a tight game through 5. More from the show. Saturday baseball following this message and a word from our local stations.
Wanted to stay back a little bit too long.
Into center field, line drive base hit. So the leadoff hitter reaches base safely, and now it's the run-producing part of the order with nobody out. And here's the big right-handed power threat, Trey Mancini. Now here's a fly ball, well hit, a ball that's carrying. On the warning track, he makes the catch. And that misses ball 4, so it's first and second now with only one away.
Well, they've struggled offensively in this one so far, but after that walk, they've got runners at first and second and look ready to make a little noise. Just need a big hit now.
The 0-1 pitch. Here's a pop-up now. Sanchez in foul ground, and he brings it in for the second out of the inning.
Keep his hands back.
Here's the 2-2. Skied in the air to straightaway left. And he'll get there in plenty of time to put this one away, and that ends the inning. Orioles strand a couple. They trail this one 1-0. High in the air out to center field. Mullins is right there, 1 down. Swing and a miss on the fastball that time, out number 2.
Boy, that's really disappointing for a guy that has wheels, right? All he wants to do is get on base and take advantage of the strength of his game, which is his speed. But with the strikeout right there, you can't get on first base if you strike out.
2 out, nobody on. Popped high in the air. Mancini waits on it. Makes the catch, and that'll retire the side. Nothing across here this half of the inning. 7th inning coming up. The Royals are on top, 1-0. Mike Montgomery is on to pitch from the bullpen now to start inning number 7.
Number 21, Mike Montgomery.
Now the 1-0. Hit sharply on the ground. Fielded cleanly, and the throw to first is in time, so the leadoff man is gone here to start inning number 7.
Now back.
Popped him up. Dozier takes charge out there, and he stays with it for the second out.
Just got knee buckled. Either way, that was a really good curveball right there. Move on to the next pitch, but have that in the back of your mind.
Throw on to first gets him, and the side is retired. Nothing across here this half. We'll move on now to the bottom half of the 7th. Get up and stretch. The Royals lead it 1-0. Ready with the 0-1 pitch. Weak grounder down the line at third. Throw on to first, and one third baseman grounds out to the other, 1 away. Hard on the ground towards short. Arcia gloves it. On to first, and there were 2 down.
Plate. Seems like way too many guys are chasing pitches out of the zone, and trying to hit pitchers like that one down and away. There's no success in that.
And that will conclude matters here in the 7th. Royals go down 1-2-3, but they're up 1-0. Kevin McCarthy has been summoned from the bullpen as he'll do so to start the 8th.
Number 61, Kevin McCarthy.
Being able to score any runs as we're moving late into this one. A perfect time for this leadoff guy to try to get on base and ignite a rally.
Bends down and he barehands it. It's there and he's out.
Well, he was planning that before he even got in the box, and he got it down, but it wasn't quite good enough to put him on board.
Here he comes again, 1-2. Throw in time at first for out number 2. The 1-0 home. Line shot to second, but it's caught and the side is retired. 3 up, 3 down for the Orioles. They still trail 1-0. Richard Blyer will come on now to make his 30th appearance of the year so far.
Number 48, Richard Blyer.
Swing, line, drive. That's going to be trouble. He takes the turn and heads for second. And he's going to get to second now with nobody out.
When you're leading by 1 run, you want to do everything you can to add to the lead and give your bullpen a little breathing room. It makes a big difference, so double here goes a long way towards making that a real possibility.
Popped him up. Nunez has room in foul territory. He's got it 1 away. Bat explodes as this is popped up. And an off-balance throw is in time as he takes 1 away. Wow.
Oh, that'll make you smile as a pitcher. You make a good pitch, you blow the guy's bat up, and then you make the play yourself. In your head, you're thinking, nice swing, meat.
Lifted in the air out towards left center. Naquin's under it. Makes the catch, and that'll retire the side. 1 left for Kansas City. They lead it 1-0. Jacob Barnes comes on from the pen, hoping to finish this one off here in the top of the 9th.
Number 50.
Skied in the air to straightaway left. Meta comes in a few steps as he hauls it in for the first out. So the leadoff man gone to start the top of the 9th as we take a look at league saves leaders entering play. And as you can see, he currently ranks 2nd in the AL in that department. Into the windup. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Looked like the cut fastball there, and he got him to swing through it for the second out. First pitch coming. Here it is. A swing and a drive sent out toward the gap. But that'll be off the wall in right center. And hold all tickets now as the tying run gets into scoring position with a 2-out double.
Wow, when I heard that and saw it leave his bat, I thought we were going to be all tied up, but it just didn't have enough to get out of here, so he's going to have to settle for a double. Tying run on second, and now things are officially getting interesting.
Here's the first pitch to him. Chopped toward the second baseman. Knee high, he barehands it. What a play. And just like that, this one is over.
Wow, that game flew by, but that's what happens when you get a well-pitched one-run game. Both hurlers battled, and it's almost a shame somebody had to lose this one.
A single run good enough to do it today. 1-0 the final score. Kansas City led this game from the third inning on and never wavered. Jacob Junis gets to double digits with his 10th win of the year. Julio Teheran is settled with the loss after giving up only one earned. Jacob Barnes earns the save out of the bullpen, his 37th of the year. So that just about does it for Mark DeRosa, Dan Plesac, Heidi Watney, and our entire crew. I'm Matt Vasgersian. You've been watching MLB The Show. For more, make your way over to theshownation.com.
And we suffer a tough loss to the Kansas City Royals, 1-0. Julio Teheran was on .7 innings, 6 strikeouts, gave up 1 earned run, and that was on a sac fly, but that was all the Royals needed to beat us. We left a lot of people on base. Our bats need to kind of turn around, or we're not going to be a playoff contender. Jacob Junis was the player of the game with 6 strong innings, 4 hits, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. He looked pretty dominant on the mound. But really, the whole Royals pitching staff kind of really shut us down. They look very, very good in the pitching department. As for the hitters, Moose 1 for 3, a double. Naquin 1 for 3, double. Hinckley 1 for 4. Trey Mancini did go 0 for 4, but I saw he brought up his average a lot. For Kansas City, Nicky Lopez 1 for 3, double with the run scored. Bonifacio 1 for 3 and a double. Yolmor Sanchez had the sac fly, and Jorge Soler was 1 for 3 with a double. So definitely a tough game there, but we're still 1 game above 500. And we have a rubber game in Kansas City with Yanoa going against Lamet. And Brett Cumberland is still going to be injured for 1 to 2 weeks, so we're going to keep him on the 60-day IL. And we end up taking 2 out of 3 in Kansas City with Yanoa getting his 8th win. So we're continuously battling, but I think Kansas City has pretty much the wild card wrapped up unless they really have a bad month and a half here. But now we go back home for a pretty good 9-game homestand, with the first being a 3-game set against the Red Sox. We have David Hess on the mound, who has been awesome, against Eduardo Rodriguez. And we do beat the Red Sox. You have to remember that we have not played the AL East very good. But Hess will get his 4th win, and his ERA is still dropping. Hopefully he can get in the 2s. That would be a huge, huge plus for us. Weber got the loss. So let's go to game 2. We got Minor versus Porcello. Minor's still looking for that elusive 10th win. Are we able to do it here at home? And we end up getting blanked, 10-0. Porcello put it on us. Minor's still not able to get his 10th win of the year. And now we head to the rubber game, a 1:30 game here in Camden Yards. Means versus Price. Means continues his strong trek back, and we end up losing 5-4. So once again, we lose 2 out of 3 to an AL East team. We're just not able to beat our division, which is a very difficult division, don't get me wrong. But we have to be able, because it's division heavy. We have to win. But now we welcome the first place New York Yankees and their 76-52 record for a 4-game stand. Teheran, who we just watched, looking for his 7th win of the year, going against Domingo Germán. We do end up winning 5-2, so Teheran will get his 7th win of the year. He's been pitching very, very good. And now to game 2. It's going to be Sessa versus Yanoa. Yanoa trying to get his 9th win of the year after starting in AAA. And we end up losing 4-3. Yanoa pitched a pretty good game there. But again, our bats just not coming around yet for us. That's what we really need. We need some offense. I think our pitching has finally recovered. But without Betts, are we really an offensive-minded team? And now to game 3, we have Severino versus David Hess, who is still not lost on the season. And we end up winning 7-5. Michael Givens will get a win. Tommy Canley with the loss. And are we able to take 3 out of 4 against the Yankees? We have Minor going against Jordan Montgomery, who's having a great year. Minor still looking for that 10th win of the season. And we do end up winning 2-0. He will finally get that 10th win of the season, as we ended up beating Jordan Montgomery. And now we have Zager, who has pulled a back muscle. We'll keep him active. He wasn't really playing anyway down there. But now we head to a little 2-game set against the Tampa Bay Rays, which we're starting to try to creep back up on. And we have Means on the mound versus McKay, who beat us twice last month. And Brett Cumberland is off the IL, but we end up losing 8-1. Means will get his 10th loss of the year. But his ERA is under 4, so really that's our offense not doing what it needs to be doing. But McKay would get his 3rd straight win against us. So that 7 ERA is a lie, because he pitches well against us. Let alone, I don't think the Rays have lost a game against us in the past like 2 or 3 months. Now we are looking for a split of this little 2-game series. We got Tehran going against their ace, Blake Snell, their ace. And we end up losing 3-2. So I'm pretty sure we're around the 0-12 mark against the Rays here in the last couple of months. So that's not going to get it done if we just can't beat the AL East teams. I mean, it's something that is just terrible, but we have to continue to fight. And I mean, this season has been a little bit awkward anyway. But now we head to Minnesota for a 3-game set against the 54-79 Minnesota Twins. They've definitely have kind of imploded upon themselves, and Yanoa is going for his 9th win against Devin Smeltzer. And we do end up winning, and Yanoa will get that 9th win. Smeltzer gets his 11th loss. So now we head to game 2. We have David Hess, who is yet still not lost a decision yet, and he's going against Carl Jung. And we end up winning 9-2. David Hess is 5-0 on the season with a 3.26 ERA. He is looking really sharp. He has really come out of nowhere. I'm very, very impressed. And now we go for the sweep of those Twins. We got Minor on the mound going against Jose Barrios, who has lost 16 games this year. But it won't be his 17th, as he ends up beating Minor and the O's 6-2. So Minor will suffer his 7th loss, and now we get to go to Toronto and play the 48-89 Blue Jays. But we already know that we're not good against the AL East. We're at least 2 games above 500. We're still fighting. John Means is going for his 9th win, going against Forrest Whitley in his 6-10 record. And we do win 5-2, so Means does get his 9th win. Whitley will get his 11th loss. And then to the last game of the month, we have Tehran going against Logan Allen. If Tehran can continue this, it's going to be beautiful. And it does look like we lost 5-1, so Tehran will get his 6th loss of the year. Logan Allen will get his 3rd win. So not a good August for us whatsoever. We still stand in 3rd place, but 5 games behind the Tampa Bay Rays and 11 games behind the Yankees. In the wild card, we sit currently 5 games out, and there is just a ton of hungry teams at 75-63, including the A's, the Astros, and those aforementioned Rays. So we definitely have a long way to go. I mean, everybody wants to toss out that maybe we're not as good because of the Mookie Betts situation, but we have to fight and we have to end up winning. And the teams that we have on our schedule in September, we got Toronto, Tampa, Yankees, Red Sox, Mariners, and more Red Sox. So the Mariners are a really good game, or really good team, but we're probably not going to be watching them because we've just watched them this year. But we do have Yankees, who are very, very good. And we could also play the Boston Red Sox, which we haven't done yet this year. Tampa Bay was our opening game, so we'll probably skip on them. So I'm kind of thinking either this 3-game set in Fenway here or this 3-game set in Camden Yards here. And I mean, that's pretty much the end of the season. Are we able to make up 5 games in 1 month and make it to the playoffs and kind of sneak in under the radar? Right now, we're just a 500 team. But let's go take a look at the stats at the end of this month. So for our lineup, Cedric Mullins is a little bit cold. He ended the month at a 262 clip with 8 home runs, 24 RBIs, so maybe I need to take him out of that leadoff role because he was doing some damage down there in the 9th spot. Robert Hinckley hitting 280, 24 home runs, 70 RBIs. He probably has 20 stolen bases as well. So he probably has Rookie of the Year all sealed up, but a very good campaign for his first year. That is awesome. Trey Mancini, 290, 23 home runs, 85 RBIs. I was expecting a little bit better from the reigning AL MVP and batting title winner. But, I mean, if he can get over 300, that would be nice. Moose is cold, and there goes his average. 245, 28 home runs, 79 RBIs, but he should be able to get to 30 this year. Reno, 278, 15 home runs, 63 RBIs. He's looking pretty good for a 79 overall guy. Tyler Naquin, one of our trade guys that we got, 275, 21 home runs, 64 RBIs. It's a very nice replacement, not quite Mookie Betts-like. Bradley Zimmer's doing pretty well, 274, 5 home runs, 34 RBIs, so he's playing up to standard. Francisco, 18 home runs, career high for him, hitting 229, 41 RBIs. So he's looking really good, but he's got a long way to go to beat out Adley Rutschman next year. Orlando Arcia, 241, 12 home runs, 41 RBIs. His average is actually looking pretty good for his standards, so maybe he's starting to come around a little bit. JT Riddle, 266, 6 home runs, 26 RBIs as the bench bat and our utility player, so that's actually really, really good. Dwight Smith, 260, 13 home runs, 47 RBIs. I haven't put him back in the lineup since his injury, but his average hasn't necessarily even recovered the playing time that he has been getting. Hanser Alberto, not a great season for him. 228, 8 home runs, 27 RBIs. I mean, ultimately got kicked from that third base role. Austin Wins doing the backup catcher thing. 167, home runs, 7 RBIs. And now you see why we need to have a backup catcher. As for the pitching side, Mike Minor has really kind of been on and then been cold and then on and then cold. But currently stands at a 10-7 record with 3.61 ERA, 1.38 WHIP. Maybe not quite ace numbers, but I mean, for us, it's not terrible. John Means, after that horrid start, is 9-10, 3.9 ERA, 1.3 WHIP. So at least he's turning around his season. Tehran, 7-6, 3.33 ERA, 1.28 WHIP. He's kind of been the ace that we were looking for, but he's down there in the third spot, and that's a good spot to just keep him. Yanoa, after starting in AAA, is 9-8, 3.72 with a 1.31 WHIP. He's looking very sharp this year. And then David has probably the surprise of the season, other than Betts' season-ending injury. 5-0, 3.26 ERA, 1.37 WHIP. So he's looking really, really good, and I'm very, very impressed with him. As for the bullpen, Ty Block is 8-4, 3.86, 1.35. So he's doing exactly what Ty Block does and do well. Maybe he gets his 10th win as a long reliever. That's a little bit interesting. Hunter Harvey, 5-5, 4.92, 1.71 WHIP. Needs to get that WHIP down, but tell you the truth, not a terrible season for really his first full season. So pretty impressive, but I would like to see that ERA come down and that WHIP come down as well. Richard Blyer, 3-1, 2.5 with a 0.86 WHIP. So he's looking pretty good. We actually got to watch him not give up a run for once, so that's a plus. Castro, 2-1, 4.5 ERA, 1.38 WHIP, so he got blown up there. But only 16 innings pitched for him this year. I think we need to be changing that up just a little bit. Michael Givens in 44 1/3, 4.06 ERA, 1.67 WHIP, so he's at least recovering. But again, not closer numbers that we're looking for. Tommy Hunter, 2-2, 3.63 ERA, 1.41 WHIP, so he definitely had a very strong month. Got his stats down a little bit. Aradis Vizcaíno in 29 2/3, 3.03 ERA, 1.18 WHIP, so very good addition for him as a setup man. I'm not sure, I kind of forget if I signed him to a 2-year deal or not, but I might sign him again to a 1-year, if not. And then Tanner Scott with his 3 ERA and 1.5 WHIP and 17 out of 17 saves. Now, his overall is dropping for whatever reason, but he's actually looking pretty sharp. I mean, 3 ERA isn't great, 1.5 WHIP isn't great, but 17 out of 17 saves, I can get behind that. And now it's time for the minor league report. So Norfolk, I see they are 71-63 and are currently in second place in the International League South Division, 3 games behind the Stripers, who are the Braves minor league team. So they're looking pretty good, but finally stopped depleting the Tides, and they're actually coming through in a pretty big way. Hopefully they make the playoffs, and we can talk about them just a little bit more. As for the Bay Sox, they now lead the Eastern League Western Division at a 71-63 record, so they have definitely turned it on this year as well. So let's talk stats. So for our hitters, Caden Grenier, 272, 6 home runs, 26 RBIs. For a guy that actually started in Double-A this year, he has been playing way above his overall, and I'm very impressed, and hopefully he can continue that, so I wouldn't mind seeing him in the big league club, probably playing second base for us. Austin Hayes, 265, 10 home runs, 48 RBIs. He does have a little bit of a cold streak, but not too shabby numbers. I wish those home runs were a little bit better, that average a little bit better. But what can you expect? Yusio Diaz, 294, 21 home runs, 67 RBIs. It's pretty much nudging me that he needs to be with the big league club this time around. And now we have a just congested outfield, but I think it's definitely going to be worth getting him up because, I mean, that is some really good hitting stats. RD Navarro, 258, 13 home runs, 55 RBIs. Nothing too crazy there for him, but he's definitely having a better season than he had last year. Stevie Wilk, who was doing great up in the majors, but then we sent him down for some playing time. 257, 5 home runs, 31 RBIs, and 268 at-bats. He definitely looks like our utility guy of the future, so we need to keep paying attention to that. Rio Ruiz, 216, 15 home runs, 36 RBIs. Did not hit a home run last month, so maybe his time has finally just kind of burned out, and maybe it's time that we move on from him. Adley Rutschman, 257, 8 home runs, 39 RBIs. Kind of thought he'd be hitting a little bit more home runs this year, but the average isn't terrible, and I mean, Chance Cisco is doing okay, but I think Adley is our catcher of the future, and if I'm wrong, then shame on me. As for Ryan Mountcastle, 234, 11 home runs, 45 RBIs. Just wish his average would go up, and then I could get him in the big leagues, but that just doesn't seem to be happening for whatever reason. Walker Jean, 258, 3 home runs, 24 RBIs, and 260 at-bats. So he's definitely recovering pretty well from that injury he had earlier this year. Bruce Maxwell is a backup catcher, 167, 6 RBIs, so my man, that's not going to get it done. Reinheimer, 243, home run, 17 RBIs, so not too bad. Richie Martin, 210, home run, 22 RBIs. He's out of the starting lineup. I think it might be time that we just kind of go away from him as well. He's just not producing, and it's about that time. Anderson Feliz, 238, 8 home runs, 23 RBIs. Possible first baseman of the future, maybe, but he definitely needs to hit just a little bit more. And for the Bay Sox, we did end up sending Chris Cheek back down to Double-A this month. He actually was struggling there in Triple-A, so let's put him back down in Double-A and continue his progression. I mean, 79 overall, he's going to be an absolute stud. But he's hitting 289, 15 home runs, 48 RBIs in Double-A. That's good enough to get you to Triple-A for sure. Orlando Bautista, 296, 5 home runs, 32 RBIs, so he's definitely doing very well down here too. And we just have so many really, really good outfielders. Santander, 246, 7 home runs, 26 RBIs. Again, a guy that I kind of thought would be doing a lot better, but hasn't necessarily done so. DJ Stewart, 215, 4 home runs, and 15 RBIs at the Double-A level, my man. You are not doing very well. You better figure out what's going on. Gustavo, 241, 17 home runs, 73 RBIs. He's looking really, really sharp as a third baseman, possible third baseman of the future. Logan Wyatt, 289, 11 home runs, 56 RBIs. If he can get that overall up, I know the speed is really hurting him. Those batting categories, they look really, really good. I'm impressed. Sergio Fiera didn't get hurt this year so far. 241, 8 home runs, 34 RBIs. So definitely looking pretty good as one of our more top prospect guys. Martin Zager, 280, 2 home runs, 28 RBIs. He doesn't have the power, but he's definitely hitting for a really good average down here in Double-A. So he probably found himself a home just so he can get that overall better. Brett Cumberland finally came back from his long injury, his shoulder separation. 287, 20 RBIs, no home runs, but I mean only in 195 at-bats. Actually very surprised he has no home runs. But a possible catcher here for AAA coming up. Dave Dician, 240, 4 home runs, 27 RBIs. Not doing too bad for a 57 overall in AA. Mackenzie Yamashita, 202, 13 home runs, 34 RBIs. Some big-time power numbers from him, but that average is just not where it needs to be. Guadalupe Valdez, 269, 5 home runs, 27 RBIs. He's starting to really come around here in AA. He's starting against left-handers, so he's getting decent at-bats. Andresmio Valentin, 236, home run, 23 RBIs. Probably not going to be part of our future going forward. As for the Tides pitchers, Josh Rogers did finally come back off the IL, and he's 3-0 with a 2.21 ERA and 1.0 WHIP, so he's looking really strong here for the Tides in AAA. Aaron Brooks, 7-4, 2.77, 1.23 WHIP. He's kind of our in fact to 6 starter if we ever need him. DL Hall, 3-4, 2.62 ERA, 1.22 WHIP. So for him struggling in AA, he's actually come up to AAA and done very, very well. Grayson Rodriguez, 7-9, 3.71 ERA, 1.29 WHIP. Probably not quite ready for the majors. If he can have a really, really good season next year, I'll probably think about it. Raul Alcantara, 10-8, 3.54 ERA, 1.39 WHIP. So again, he's proving that he's not major league worthy just yet. Blaine Knight, 9-6, 3.01 with 1.3 WHIP. Looking pretty strong in that long reliever role. Chandler Shepard, 5-7, 2.91 and a 1.1 WHIP. Whoa, he's looking pretty good. Evan Phillips, 6-2, 2.98 and a 1.3 WHIP. He's looking really good down here in AAA. Brandon Klein, 1-2, 6.1 ERA, 1.45 WHIP. Might end up sending him down to AA finally. Keep talking about it, but that ERA is just not getting better. Granted, he's only pitched 10 1/3, but you can't really blame the Tides with that ERA. Sean Gilmartin, 2-2 with a 2.75 ERA and 1.09 WHIP in 39 1/3, so he's looking pretty strong. Dylan Tate, 2-4, 3.26 ERA, 1.21 WHIP. Possible middle reliever next year. Paul Fry, 0-3, 3.24 ERA, 1.29 WHIP. Same thing with him. Could be a middle reliever next year for us. And Edebrey Ramos, who seems to be on a hot streak right now with a 3.12 ERA, 1.47 WHIP, and 32 out of 39 saves. So he has blown 7 saves, but 32, and I mean, he got sent down like the middle of the season. Yes, the Tides are winning, but he's actually shutting the door pretty well. As for the Bay Sox, Brendan Hanafy is 6-6 with a 2.97 ERA, 1.44 WHIP. Kind of was a no thought down there in Class A Delmarva, but up here in AA Bowie seems to be doing pretty good. Zach Luther, 7-3, 3.02 ERA, 1.37. So again, another Delmarva guy coming up and pitching pretty well for AA. Luis Gohara, 7-4, 3.09, 1.22 WHIP. Really good numbers for him, but again, we saw him struggle in AAA, so he wasn't quite ready. Archie Terrell, 2-2, 2.98, 1.32 WHIP. Our pitchers look very strong down here in AA. Derek Switzer is 11-8, 2.66 ERA, 1.03 WHIP. So he's looking good as well. That's a pretty dominant starting rotation for the Bay Sox. Jose Mesa, our long reliever, 3-4, 3.98, 1.35 WHIP. Not necessarily. I had him in the setup role for a good while there, but my long reliever was struggling a little bit, so I ended up putting him there. And it doesn't seem like he's doing too bad, even though there's a snowflake by his name. Yacobonis, 4-3, 2.95, 1.41 WHIP. So looking very good down here in AA. Cody Carroll, 4-1, 2.05, 1.2 WHIP. So he's still looking very good down in AA as well. Ben Heller, 5-5, 3.38 with a 1.24 WHIP. Looking very good for you there, Mr. Heller. Nick Rumbelow, 3-3, 4.97 ERA, 1.55 WHIP, maybe our worst pitcher on the AA team. And that doesn't bode well because he's actually up there in age. Joey Gerber, 0-1, 3.44, 1.36 WHIP. So not bad. I wouldn't say great, but not terrible. Michael Baumann, who we ended up calling up from Delmarva, only has 1 inning pitch with 9 ERA, 2 WHIP. So need to see him a little bit more involved before we can make any foregone conclusions about him. And then Gordon Labine, 2.35 ERA, 0.96 WHIP. That WHIP is fantastic. And he's 31 of 36 saves, so he's doing really good things down here in AA Bowie. I think it's time that he's going to come up to AAA. Probably not this season, maybe next season. Maybe have an outside opportunity in making the big league club. And that's where we have run out of time for this episode. And then when we come back, we will get through September. We'll have a little bit of call-up action, see how some of those younger guys play up here in the bigs. But really, it's about trying to make the final wild card spot, which we are 5 games behind currently. So we really need to dig deep, try to get some wins. Season has been marred by a superstar injury, but we're continuously fighting, and we don't want to make excuses. We need to go out, we need to play, we need to win, we need to make the playoffs. It's just as simple as that. But thanks again for watching, and as always, stay frosty, and I'll see you in the next episode. D.Knight out.
They thought it was a game till I came back with that